No one's talking about how he sweeps. He's sweeping down. Like, he's as down on the sweep as it comes, right? So that is literally insane. All right, so we're going to look at Steven Richter's 74-meter throw, which is absolutely insane. And this is from Ramona. I want to play this at full speed, and then we're going to come back and we're going to analyze it bit by bit. Oops, what happened there? So if we get back here, let's go back to the beginning, play this. So the coolest part about this throw that I think is that I think Steven's movement is fairly replicable, meaning when you're a high school kid watching this, there's a couple really easy, simple takeaways. I want to pay attention to each point and what they look like, right? So right here, if we just look at that point here, you can see his positioning on the left foot. Now, there's a couple aspects I want you to look at. Is he's controlling that head, right? So his head's under control. Left arm's pretty level, maybe slightly below shoulder width, just slightly below. But he's still in double support here. You can see he's starting to turn that right heel right here, has pretty much turned while he's still grounded on the left foot. Now, as he picks up here, he changes his angle of attack from the upper body. Okay, so you can see here, he's quite level, right? He stays level. He carries the discus slightly low, but even at this point, he gets pretty stacked up on the inside of that left foot. So like, I like to look at where's the foot pressure right here relative, to his center of mass. And he tends to be more so on the inside to middle of his left foot level here. And you can see that nice push happening here. Now, where does his left foot sort of stop rotating? It's this next frame right here. This is a big position that I think everyone could master, even in shot putters, is that you're going to see where's his left arm. Okay, he's on top of that left foot. His right leg's long, okay? And you can sort of see everything starting to enter. And he's got that right sweep leg right here coming around his left. Now, if we're looking at this position, okay, I would make this argument that this is like the absolute quintessential long right leg sweep dorsiflex. So the way his foot is at this position is dorsiflexed. Okay, so when we're trying to look at as a takeaway, we can think through not having a knee sweep, but having a long sweep here from that right hip coming around. And then if we look, and I want you to pay attention to what is he doing. Even here you can see his upper body is upright. His left arm is quite level. Discus is level with his left arm. And then where's the position of his right foot? His right foot, he's sweeping low. So notice a lot of people will come out of the back and they sort of raise with that right quad, raise with that right knee. And we can really start to see here with Steven that he's able to hold this position. Whoops, he's able to hold this position and start to lead with that right leg coming down. And I think that's a really hard thing to do for a lot of people. And you can see, like, look at this position right here. Okay, I want to point this out because I don't think anyone's really paid attention to this. Anyone's really watching this is like, look how down he is. Okay, now he's down. Discus is here, left arm's here. He's not technically down on the ground, right? But he's sweeping down. And this is the big factor that I think helps him be so fast through the circle, is that he moves so quickly and then he's off of that left pretty well at this point. So if I'm looking here and I want to say, okay, what is Steven doing when is his, I mean, even look at this right here. His right foot is still not down. Like, that's crazy. If we just go back to this position, no one's talking about how he sweeps. This is like quintessential. He's sweeping down. Like, he's as down on the sweep as it comes, right? So that is literally insane. And so he just makes contact at this point, okay? Now when he makes contact, left leg's here, or left arm's here, doesn't have much of a high point, which I find to be interesting. Yeah, like very minimal high point. Now his left foot is about to pass here. Okay, so pretty quick off his left. I think, relatively, there's some guys that would be a little faster, but it's pretty quick. Left arm's here, discus is here. And then when we're seeing that stacked position on top of that right here, okay, we're able to see now the left side is coming around the right. Okay, so we're seeing the left side's coming around the right. He's got his torso stemming this way. Left foot's moving forward. And then I think the big issue that people struggle with is that when the left foot gets high here, they struggle to keep the left foot coming down. And I wanted to point out how Steven grounds at this point here. Okay, he grounds sort of with that hip this way. In the past, I've talked about that hip being a little more open, like Val opens that a little more. I think Steven's sort of in the middle. I think this is when you can start to see just a very slight shift of the hip into his left foot. And the reason I'm saying this is because you can see how his knee almost looks like it's becoming valgus here. That's usually like a sign of a slight shift. You get a little bit of this valgus action, and then what ends up happening is like the right foot doesn't rotate as much. Again, these are all just observations. I'm just trying to observe this. I'm not judging Steven. It's a 74-meter throw. And he's also been on it this whole outdoor season. He opened up really, really well. So right here, he's getting into that left. Discus is here. Got a nice position coming around. And so one other thing I wanted to point out is that classically, this position is where we're going to see throwers sit through the left more, okay? Right? Like you're going to sit through that position. And based off of how grounded he's been on the sweep, it's an interesting, I guess you could call it a juxtaposition right here, that he's off the ground. Now, something we've learned from Dr. Christoph Kipp in his analysis is like, if you're moving very fast and you're coming off, the speed of the center of mass across the circle is truly what ends up mattering the most, and then the range of motion. And then let's pay attention. Great flight on this. This was a windy day. I also want to point out like how well his right hip, right quad comes through, right knee. And if you look at that right foot, his right foot's still down as he's rotating. And this flight sort of went like down the right sector to the middle. It turned over pretty late on him. So unbelievable throw, comes through. You can see here that right side comes through quite well, like transfers forward well, even with that left foot coming up off of the, man, what a save too. Coming up off that finish. So this throw, I just really, really believe people are able to repeat this and take some really good lessons on the sweep, really good movement from the left foot, holding that torso position over that right. And it's like, just go back, if we can just go back to the beginning, it's like, what are the big takeaways? It's, in my mind, the big takeaways are, where's he at in double support at pickup? Where's he at pickup, right? Okay, how does he come around the left? He's got a nice long right leg with the dorsiflex position. His right sweeps low and he gets to the middle very quickly right here. And then as he comes down with his left foot here, he rotates the right hip really hard through here, right? I actually want to point out, like, looks like he's down at this position, but if we go back maybe one frame, he's probably down. He just comes through cranking that right side. So just a great throw. Good takeaways. Congratulations to Steven Richter on the 74-meter bomb. Head over to throwsuniversity.com if you guys want any training, any help with technical analysis. Peace.